Loc Friends. If you're new here, welcome. But if you're returning, hey, welcome back. Let's get into some lock styles. So this particular style, I would wear my hair like this all the time. Even before I was locked, I would do a 2-strand twist or a braid down the side, and I would continue to braid down or twist down, but I would never fully just leave it as a braid. I will always do like a little puff at the bottom. So I have the little elastic band, the clear ones. I love to use those because it doesn't rip out your hair, but I also would over exaggerate from the middle part. So even though I would part it down the middle or separate it down the middle, I would always take a little bit over for like a bang or a swoop, kind of like well, you can see I'm doing here. I leave a little bang out, but I also would just over exaggerate the braid so it could kind of crisscross over. And so I braid down, or well, in this part I am braiding down, and I just flip it over and have a little puffs, and there's my son. And hey, here's that style number 1. There you go. Now, getting into style number 2 is inspired by my 90s growing up. I am very much a 90s girl, born in the 80s, raised by the 90s. So here is my Bantu knots. And this one particularly is inspired by Scary Spice. Yes, I did say Scary Spice. Yes, I was a Spice Girl fan. Yes, I am a Spice Girl fan. And I loved how she used to do the Bantu knots. And with this particular hairstyle, I chose to do 4. 4 because 4 is my favorite number, but I also like even numbers. So here I'm doing 4. Sometimes I do 2, but 4, if I'm going to do it like this, 4 is generally how many I do. And continuing with the elastic bands, those are what I use. I don't use rubber bands because the elastic bands are so much better for your hair. So I just fix my little swoop and tuck that little hair, fluff it up in the back, and I'm good to go pretty much. So style number 2. Hey girl, what's your number? Okay, all jokes aside, that's just me being a little silly. But that hairstyle, I actually get a lot of compliments when I do that for Bantu knots. But moving on to style number 3. This is my take on the half up, half down. So right now I'm just sectioning it off, and I'm going to separate it, have a little down, and then put this one in a little ponytail. And once again, with my swoop, I just use bobby pins to try to pin that back since my locks aren't long enough to just tuck to the side. So I pin that, get a couple of pins, pin that, and then what can go behind my ear, I'll place behind my ear and go on about my day and out. So hey, there it goes. Very simple. And moving on to style number 4 is my take on the mohawk. Now, on this particular day, I don't know why, I probably staying with my whole 4, keeping 4s and 2s in my head, I did 4 sections, 4 mohawk puffs. But generally, I know I would do either about like 6 or 7. So you can make this as chunky as you would like or as thin as you would like. Let me see if I can find a picture of when I've done it before. Okay, so here's a great example of when I've done it before. But this is also me kind of doing it half up, half down because it's still in 4 sections. And it was at my baby lock stage. I think I was barely like 6 months locked at that time. You see how thin my locks were at that time. Anyway, but so at this point here, I'm doing them more like in a puff ball. On the picture I just showed, I laid it down or had the ponytails laying down, which was cute. It's a vibe. It was a vibe. And you're certainly at liberty to do yours whichever way tickles your fancy. This is just the way I do mine. And with my swoop, I always since they're still kind of short and like to dangle in my face, I like to put a bobby pin there, but at the back, instead of letting the little pieces dangle, I decided to put an elastic band on it, and I'm just doing a little redo of my little puff, adding another bobby pin, and hey, looking cute. Okay, so on to number 5. Number 5. So this number 5 is an homage to my ultimate girl group, the girls who raised me, I would say TLC on my shirt right there. That's my inspiration, was my shirt. So I just thought of doing something fun. Now, normally I wouldn't walk down the street like this, but on certain days where I just try to be funny, or there's something where it will permit doing something like this, I will do it. And it was so easy to do. So once again, with those elastic bands, I take the clear elastic bands, and I just add them to this section of my hair. So just like Left Eye and Chili have their little ponytails sticking up on there, I did the same with that. So I took the elastic bands, but here I took 3 and just put it there, and it stayed. And I didn't even have to loop the elastic band. It just stayed. Well, there were new elastic bands, so they were still small, but you see how they just stayed. And that's just me referencing my shirt, so you know where I'm kind of going with this, because you're like, what are you doing, girl? But that's what I'm doing, and me just adding a little gold razzle dazzle to my little ponytails here. But TLC was my girls, still is my girls. They, like I said, they were my everything. And yeah, here's my TLC inspired hairdo. Now, going on to the next style, number 6. Here we go. So in the 90s, my teenage years, I wore a lot of half up, half down. I still do wear the same hairstyles. However, when I do it with my locks, I leave at least 3 to 5 rows down on the sides instead of just leaving my one lock on the side. And still going with my swoop, but I just use the same a little elastic band, put it and make it like a waterfall. Super simple. This actually is the simplest of all of the hairstyles I've done, but I generally like it the most too. I wear this one a lot too. Hey, there you go. So style number 7 is a little space bun action for you. It's not necessarily like the Bantu knots. I mean, it still is, just bigger Bantu knots, but I'm doing 2. And this one I like too. Well, as you can see my style from this. So I just take this section, and where it was 4 before, now it's just, where it was 2 before, now it's just 1. And so in total, I will have 2. And I leave the little sides out, twist it around, and just put the elastic band on there. So this one is, I'm going to redo because that one was just a little too puffy for me. So I'm making it a little bit more taunt, and my little pieces in the front, I let down. And instead of having a side swoop, I just put them on the side. Very 90s things we did, hey? And boom, bam, there you go. And style number 8. So now this is just me braiding the pieces in the front. So I take them and braid them down to the end. And then I will take my it's not elastic, it's fabric. What I got it from Michael's, and it's gold. And I think they use it for embroidering. That's exactly what it is. It's embroider fabric. And I just twist it down my lock that I've already pre-braided. And so I don't want to add an elastic band, I just braid it once it gets to the very end around the lock. And I do the same thing, just twist it, wrap it around. I'm not even tying it. I'm just wrapping it around until I get to the bottom, to the very tip of the end of the lock. And then that's when I braid it into the lock so it won't come apart, and that it will stay for the day or however long I'm going to keep it in there. Very simple, very easy to do. And hey, there you go. Add a little razzle to your dazzle. And thanks for watching. And those are some simple hairstyles you can do. And I hope you enjoyed my video. And subscribe.